Yeah. Instead of, as it started.
So at least ours gives us warning. It's like,
Mine gives us warning, it's a minute.
oh, yeah.
Alright, so great.
Yeah. You do anything. Sorry, I gotta go.
Oh, wow. And,
Okay, I'm gonna start recording the meeting.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Pleasant Hill Recreation and Park District Board of Directors regular meeting, September 25th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Look around the room, we have one very happy excused absence for Director Vincent today. And so we have 4 of us. If you're able to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll go on to agenda item 3, public comment. This item on the agenda provides an opportunity for members of the public to comment on any item within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board that is not on the agenda. Big opportunity for the public to comment on other agenda items at the time they are discussed. Comments will be limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Michelle, do we have any commenters?
We do not.
Commenters. Let's go ahead and close agenda item 3 and move to agenda item 4, reports and presentations. 4.1, tour of the website refresh by Communications and Events Manager Jennifer Twice. Come on down.
Okay. 1 second, I'm going to share the screen.
Michelle. Well, I get the exciting job to be able to give you a sneak peek of our website that's currently under development. It's kind of been a process throughout this year, going back and forth with them. But we thought it might be good for you guys to take a look and see where we're at and kind of the design and what it looks like. So I'm going to give you a little tour of what that looks like. Before I do that, I just want to give you a little backstory about the website.
Yeah, I clicked it over here, so it might not hear it.
Okay.
Try it again. It might.
Okay.
It just might be because I messed with it when I was making sure. Okay, that's not gonna work for some reason, so I'm gonna click for you. So there we go.
No problem.
Let's click for
Okay.
Looks like, oh, that got working.
Okay.
Got working.
Take it a few times.
I'm like,
So when I first came on board a little over 12 years ago, the original website was kind of staff design for the traditional software called Dreamweaver. And it was desktop based. And you had to be at the desktop to make any sort of changes. And then once you made changes to a page, you had to upload it onto a server and then refresh it, and then it would upload. But again, you had to be in one place, and it was very limited users because we paid by subscription. So I think there was myself and one other person. So you couldn't just use it anytime, any place, anywhere. And it was not cloud-based. So it's very cumbersome. And it did require some basic coding knowledge, which I didn't have at the time, but I quickly learned, where you had to go into the code and try to fix things. So that's kind of where we started from. During about 2016 through 2017, the original website was completely overhauled and redesigned by Civic Plus. It kind of we started out doing the website with them, and then we learned about their civic rec package. And so we eventually just adopted that. And the Civic Plus website was web-based, cloud-based, and it was based on a CMS, a content management system, where anybody who had access could make changes, edits from anywhere at any time. So that allowed different departments, if they needed to make changes, instead of one single person trying to manage the whole site, which is a single job in and of itself, they were able to go in. Now they're able to go in and be able to access. Over time, since 2017, things have progressively gotten more and more outdated. The look that we're so excited about eventually kind of, over time looks a little dated. Some of the functionality was, you learn more about the limitations of the website. It also is currently not very responsive, like depending on different device, it kind of looks different. So I'm hoping with this new website redesign, that will be improved. They had to go back and update some of our current modules, which is just a piece of the website where we make changes and put designs in and stuff like that. So they're actually having to go back and update because we were on a very old platform. I think we were one of their first, initial users, and since then they've grown. So if you see a civic website, like for a city, inevitably it's like, I can look at it and I go, this is a Civic Plus website. They all look the same. So the good thing about the new CMS that, again, people can use it any place, anywhere. So since 2017, the site components and responses, like I mentioned, became dated. And within the original contract, there was a 5-year redesign refresh as part of it, as part of the original contract. It was kind of put on hold during the pandemic. We had other fish to fry that we were doing. And now that things have changed, finally, dedicating some time to try to get that updated. And so I'm pretty excited that we'll be able to launch it this sometime late this fall. So that's kind of the backstory of where we came from and where we're going. So. It's not working.
Oh, it's working over here.
Yeah.
Oh, that must be. It's working here.
Okay.
My pad, working on mine. I think maybe we have a display issue. Authorize.
You mean we can watch some TV and
Yeah. Thursday game.
have staff, game nights? Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, we still got lost.
Okay.
Display, so. Who's it connecting? That bigger. There we go, now try it again.
Okay, let's see if it works. So for the redesign, of course, I had some priorities in mind that I'll share with you. The first one, obviously, was to modernize the design of the website to a more free flow, fluid style, which you see in private industry, how they kind of scroll down the page, compared to really grid-based, really boxy websites, which again, almost every civic site, including the city of Pleasant Hill, is very boxy, and it's a way to keep it organized. But so I literally had to push them outside of the box, at least on the homepage, and it was back and forth, which they were not all that comfortable with, to try to get a little more modern look. So that was one of the initial priorities. I don't think it's gonna work. If you could just, it's fine if you just press down, yeah.
There we go.
The next was to update the color palette for consistent branding. So you can see on this slide and a lot of the slides that, you know, the different departments, when they presented to you, they kind of have the same look and feel, the green, the bright white, trying to tie in the colors of our logo. So I wanted to make sure that our website reflected that as well. The other ones, you can just pull them all up if you want, Michelle. The third, and perhaps this should have been at the top, is to ensure ADA compliance for both the website design itself and for the content. So everything that they put on every design has the thought, you know, in the back of their mind, they're thinking ADA compliance. From the color palettes, the shade of green that they use, they have to ensure that that is ADA compliant. And text size, text font, how wide, you know, the kerning of the different fonts, everything has to be ADA compliant. And then for content, once the site gets done, Civic Quest does offer an add-on software that will, instead of manually having to screen all of the content that's uploaded, it will automatically scan your website constantly and provide reports for that. And so we'll probably add that on as another option to make sure that we're compliant when you upload a PDF or an agenda, that people are able to see it. So that'll be, you know, forthcoming. Another is to improve device responsiveness. Like if Michelle looked at it on her laptop, obviously on your cell phone where the majority of the users are actually accessing it, is it gonna resize? Right now it's terrible. You'll design it on your desktop and you'll look on your cell phone, it'll look totally different. Or I'll design it on my big screen and then somebody else will look at it. And, you know, the mega menu, which I'll show you what it is at the top, is all scrunched, you know, in one device, and other device it looks just fine. And the different sections are like this, and it's not good. So I'm hoping that is all gonna change. And then additionally, we're gonna incorporate some animation features to improve user interaction and interest. So when you push on a button, it kind of moves and stuff like that. So you'll see that as part of the tool. Oh, and then streamline navigation. This is something that they won't be doing. This is something that I'm going to be doing over the next couple months, where they do all the coding. What you'll see now is just, it looks a little off. And that's because it's just like a beta, you know, site. It's not actually a real one because they haven't coded it yet. So once I prove the design, I already proved it, they will go forward and start coding it. And in the meantime, I'm creating a whole, it's like I can create a beta site to redo our navigation, because right now it's very click heavy. You have to like go through all these pages to try to find what you're looking for. So I'm hoping to streamline it as well. So, but that comes from me, not for them, unless we wanted to pay them a lot of money to do that. So the website tour. So we'll just take a quick look at our current site so you can see where we're going from.
To get out of this for a second. I need to go to the current one. And I need to start my Zoom share again. Sorry, because of the way this is, I have to share Zoom. Sure. Great.
So this is our current website. Again, if you look on my computer, the mega menu is the program activities, parks and facilities, events, about us, employment, and how to us. On mine, those are all scrunched together. It looks about like this. So you can barely read them. And it's a lot of stuff. And it's like, what do you prioritize? What's the price? Why do we have events versus sports or aquatics? Why is that department cut out? So that's going to be streamlined. If you go down this orange color, originally we, trying to be fun and whatever, but if you keep scrolling, the fonts, they look like retro 1980, the hot pink and that blue swoosh with dots, again, pretty 80s looking. At the time we thought it was cool, but here we are. So it was just very heavy and just kind of outdated, just needed a new look. So in action, that's typically our news or program features, things like that. To get to the different programs, you really had to dig down. If you click on one of the mega menus, programs and activities, you can see like there's so much under. They're actually organized by age groups, which is kind of how we have it organized in our spotlight. And it's always like, we're always looking at that. Should we do it that way? So one of the things we're going to move to is the navigation is going to be based on activity type. And I'll talk about that after we just take a look kind of at the design. But that's kind of the basic look. It's not bad, but as you scroll down, it gets worse. So just with the color and the feel. So.
Stop share again.
Oh, go to an interior page because that's another big difference. See,
I'm sorry. I didn't
Sorry.
share it again. Activity page.
so this is an interior page, and you have this weird orange column on the side. It's kind of a swoop. Again, we're trying to be different and things like that, but it's not very clean or neat. Part of it I wanted to make it a little cleaner, but look professional. And the new site, the photos will be the emphasis rather than the site components or the design of the site. So that's the idea, and you'll hopefully see that when you look at the new one.
Can I go to the new one?
Yep.
I'm not sure I'm sharing this.
So this is the new site. This is up at the top. The mega menu has been reduced to 4 items, 4 areas. Explore activities from a user. They don't know the difference between a program, class, or event. So it'll be explore activities, visit parks, rent spaces, and that will have facility rentals, park rentals, and pool rentals. And then learn about us is pretty much everything else, doing business with the district, jobs, and things like that, like board information. And you have this floating menu, and you can see the animation they added. And again, those colors had to be tested to see if they're, just right. Figure out those icons, do we love those icons? Do I love them? No, but they symbolize what they're for, which you'll see, they have access to the homepage. Activity guides is the spotlight, register for classes, and then board agenda, of course, which you have to have access on the homepage, ready access, and then by law, and then contact us. So at the very top, we send the message that this is what we're about. We're about play for all. It's kind of a welcome message, and that we provide equitable access to our parks and our programs for everybody, and everybody is welcome to play here. So the emphasis goes back to that play. And you keep scrolling down. So here is another primary navigation thing. So again, you're seeing a lot of pictures and just very simple text. People don't want to read a lot of text anymore on a website. They just go there, they want to find stuff. So this features more of the departments or key activities that people would do. And all of that is changeable. The text is changeable. So if I want to focus, like it's summer camp enrollment time, maybe I swap, camps for that first one. So it's the first thing people see. And then when for mobile compatibility, when it goes to the cell phone, those will just stack neatly. So that's the idea. And we keep scrolling. This section is all about registration. So that photo there will probably, if I can do it, I'm going to embed the spotlight. So it's going to be a flip book. I can look at it right there. That optional slides are tied area, again, I don't have to have that there. If it's like covering my picture and I don't really like it, I can take it off. Just, it's like a little part of a module and I just unclick it and you can take it off. So discover, again, explore issue of a recreation guide, because that tends to be the focus where people like look through stuff. And that's, again, here's how you access our online catalog. This is how you register for classes. These are our registration policies. And how do you get a hold of us if you're trying to register? So it's really about like register, check out all we've got. And then this is how you register and streamline that process. And then again, this floating navigation allows you to go to other places in the site if you need to. And you see that mega menu is, this site is scrolling up, so that's always accessible. And then the next section is news and events. Again, I can change that title. If I said, oh, I liked Park and Rec in action better, I want to go back to that, I can do that. This is actually two separate ones, so you see that kind of big gap in between them. It's just because they're two modules, they're giving me the option. I can take the second two on the right off and then just add more boxes from the first one across the thing, whatever I want to do. So these are like our features, like key events coming up, KidStop registration is coming up, that kind of thing. Those are kind of like our highlights and things that are going on. And then you scroll, keep scrolling, and you're at the bottom. So it's a very simple thing. You don't need like all this stuff, it's just very short and sweet. And then you have in the footer, which is contact us, basic information, how do you get a hold of us, office hours, our social media, follow the fun, and then helpful links, how to get a hold of us. A lot of that same information will be accessible at the mega menu at the top. And then the site links, again, those are just common links are probably links that people do. So, and then of course they have their thing, which they had it really big at first. I'm like, no, you can shrink it down. So let's just go to an interior page. So here's the mega menu and like how it will look. So again, pretty boxy. I wanted them to look like the homepage, but this is what they can give us. And that took a lot of back and forth to even get to this point. So it gives me the option to have three columns. So you can have just the interior page, the center section, which is wider, and not have that navigation menu if you want. But I think for the most part, we'll keep that those navigations on the right. So let's say this jumped from sports page. So it goes to a sports landing page. And on the side there, it will have like youth programs, preschool programs, teen sports, adult sports. And that's how they navigate through, but they're looking for sports. Same thing for like aquatics, lifeguards, all those types. The more you're narrowing it down basically. But instead of being like everything's up at the top, it's kind of gives you, the old site kind of gives you the entire universe. And whereas this one is like, okay, we're going to organize that a little bit and just like streamline you down to where you need to go on a path. That feature column in our current site, we usually have a staff member photo and then their contact information. But unfortunately, on our old site, when it wraps, it just looks horrible. So you can turn that on and off. You don't have to have that third column over there. But again, you'll see that navigation bar on the right-hand side where you need to go back to the home page. Most people know now that if you click on the logo, that takes you to the home page. But if you didn't know that, your icons on the right-hand side are going to take you back to the beginning. So board agendas again are on every page now. So that's the basic tour for the current site. I'm excited about it. It's clean, fresh. Again, the photos really pop. There's not a lot of words or text. We just wanted people to get on the site, get the information they need. Maybe we catch their eye on something new while they're there, and then move on because that's what they want now. So if you go back to the presentation, I can show you some of the navigation that I have in mind, and it may change slightly as I work through all the pages. So again, at the top, we have explore activities. So at the top, we'll again have access to our activity guide. They don't know the name of the spotlight, only I know it, but that's our activity guide. And then after, so it's listed in alphabetical order, so nobody can get mad at me on my all the departments and say, like, how comes mine not first, So, it's listed in alphabetical order. So after school care, aquatics, camps, enrichment classes, and camps, when you go to that page, it'll list like summer camps, and it also lists like school break camps that are happening like this October. So enrichment classes, it'll go to that page. It'll talk about preschool enrichment classes, youth enrichment classes, teen and adults. And then events is self-explanatory, fitness programs, inclusive recreation. So again, all our programs. Visit parks. Currently, parks and facilities are on the same, line. So we're just splitting that up, and it goes to our parks, our dog park, and then open spaces, which talks about our trail or dice trail. Rent spaces, that really emphasizes, something dear and whatever to us, to rent spaces. And that's the facilities, really dedicating a page for that. Obviously parks and pools, so it's more specific. And of course, when you're on a park page, like if you're on the park page, it's gonna have access to the rental page. You don't have a button or something that'll take you to that page, but you don't have to jump through a bunch of hoops to try to get there, so. And then learn about us, about the district, ADA again in alphabetical order, board agendas, communications, community partners. You can read all of them, employment, etc. So, and then a search option. So it's really streamlined compared to, showing a million different things on the mega menu on the current site. So I think that's it. Thank you for the opportunity to share. Super excited.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're open to the board for any questions. Questions from the board? Yes.
What happens with registration, the guts of registration? This is still civic rec.
So it's completely separate. So this will, it kind of looks like it, because one of the things they do as part of the website refresh is they also refresh the look of civic rec, which is completely separate program. So they will make it look like you're still on our website. So they'll change, right now, it kind of looks like you're on our website. The catalog kind of shows up. It looks like the same top part of our website when you're in really separate program. So the same thing will happen once we update our website, then they go in and update the registration systems, like look and feel too. So.
But the look of it, but what about the
functionality?
Functionally, this doesn't impact that.
No,
They're two completely separate softwares. Because some people, when we first started, I think the initial one, we were using Civic Plus, which is the name of the parent company, to redo our website, but we were still using a different.
Well, we actually bought Rec 1 and then Civic Plus bought Rec 1.
Okay, that's correct.
So
Yeah.
we were using Active Debt before that. So,
Yeah, ActiveNet, that's the other one, I couldn't think of the name of what the old software. But it basically just links to that software. And they just happen to be all under the one same.
So it's gonna look better, but we're not improving the navigation of it or the, how you put in your credit card numbers or
No, that's
any of that kind of stuff?
No, that's Civic Rec software, that's again completely
Yeah,
separate.
that comes out of the box. The only thing we can do is update the look and feel.
Yeah.
That is how it comes and
Yeah.
and what its functionality is, and they
Yeah.
are not
Well, this
updating
is,
that this time.
so attractive and so fresh, and so functional. It's discouraging that we've got this old unfunctional stuff behind it. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
lovely. Combination of great enthusiasm, great talent.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, my question was somewhat similar, you know, when you navigate on our current website to registration,
Mhm.
it kind of brings you at the top, you know, and then you have to then sort of search through again, you
Yeah,
know.
through the catalog.
Yeah, wondering if there's a possibility, like when you've already kind of navigated like explore programs.
Yeah.
You're kind of like looking for a certain event.
You
that
want
can
to direct
go
go
to
to
that.
that
We
class.
Find the
can, we
catalog.
can.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can do that. I remember even in old Dreamweaver, we used to go through, because there's like a unique link for every class in the recreation system. So I used to have to go through and every single link, because we had all of our, it was like redoing our catalog on the old website. Like, it was like basically a catalog, and it would have a link, and the link would go to individual, you know, places to
Classes.
register. But I had to go through for hundreds of classes and sessions and go through and update those links to those things. So it's.
We can put,
do
we
that,
can put
yeah.
one, you know, directly to, like, let's say you,
Like a
or something like
category.
that,
Yeah,
like
to a
larger
category, yes, yeah.
But the functionality for Civic Rec, as far as the registration goes, is actually, the search feature and the filter feature is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Like if you're only looking for pool programs or, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, you can put in KidStop and only KidStop will come up in
Yeah.
that search. So it's pretty robust if you know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
it definitely isn't something to browse, like you
Yeah.
kind of have to know what you're looking for.
yeah, but it's a thought, like to go to a certain section of the catalog, like.
Yeah, if you're
When
on
I
that
do a s-
page, you know,
yeah, when I do a
register will
s-
take you to those
yeah,
types
yeah.
of activities.
Like when I do a social media post on a certain program or even a class like camps, I can go into our registration system and find a public link for, you know, a certain group of classes that will show all the sessions for that particular class. Usually, sometimes it doesn't work, but most of the time I can. And then I'll use a shortener and I can put that in the post. So people can go directly to whatever I'm talking about, like register for pumpkin splash. So I go into the separate software, find the direct access and link to that, and then use a shortener and stick it in my post so people can go right to that. They don't have to go to the catalog and
Navigate.
try to find it, so. But that's a good thought. Yeah.
But conversely, if they use the catalog, can they just, is there a hyperlink where they can just click on the pumpkin splash and go right to register for it?
Well, they just put in as in the activity, you just put in pumpkin splash and it'll pull it up and it'll show, you know, what's available.
Yeah, that wasn't my question so much, as if we're digitizing the spotlight and having it there available.
Mhm.
People are thumbing through it and they
Yeah.
see, you know, they see a particular
Yeah.
swim lesson class and
Yeah.
like, hey, can they just click on it and have it go right to the registration for that section of it?
You actually can, like, and I tried that once. I was using it was a digital catalog browser, and it's called Issue. And again, it's just really labor intensive. I mean, if we want somebody to do that, we can, and you go through individual sessions and you find the link in the registration system, then you put it in there. So it's kind of the same.
And that might, you know, that's definitely a good thought.
Yeah.
Put it on the list and it might be a
Yeah,
good.
oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Something the front desk staff here might be able to take
Yeah.
on for you.
Yeah,
So.
no, that's definitely something. It definitely makes it easier for the end user, you know, it just goes directly to the thing. Yeah. It's good feedback.
That's a good question though, why could it not be on it? I mean, Civic Rec is just a database. And so with any data structure, it's searchable, pull up, you can post things out of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be manual. So does the Civic Bus have the ability to code for a way to grab those on an automated basis? Do they have that kind of tech expertise or do they not?
Not at this
I
time.
don't, yeah.
Not at this time.
But
I mean,
but it's a database, so
Yeah.
it's the structured
Oh, yeah.
way you can, so it can be.
Yeah.
It's technically so it's
Yeah.
technically possible,
Yeah.
they just don't have the technical expertise to
Yeah.
do that, which I think even goes to some of my, or your question from prior meeting goes, a Civic plus the platform for us. And so I appreciate some of these things that I kind of wanted to see, is there a mobile version that we can kind of see that mock up for that?
Not yet.
That's the one part that I
Yeah.
are most interested in.
Yeah,
I really don't mind so much the desktop because really less than 25% of people are using
Yeah.
desktop browsing nowadays, right? And so how does it look on a mobile platform is really the question that we should be asking, right? And that's a lot of things.
Yep.
So I don't know.
I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like too.
Okay, so we're not quite there yet.
No,
Well,
not quite.
It's the same, I mean, it is, so it's the same, we're moving up to the same version that the city of Pleasant Hill uses. And so, city of Pleasant Hill, I have found their recent redesign,
Mhm.
I've had much better experience on my phone.
Yeah.
With their Civic Plus website. So I believe it's going to be similar. Part of it was, some of the things we requested last time, the fancy swooshes and things like that. They coded those specifically for us, and then, and it definitely was kind of pre everyone using lots of technology.
Yeah,
In different formats. So that just kind of is an image that just gets shoved to the bottom.
Yeah.
But I've personally found the city's current Civic Plus website to be mobile responsive, so I think it will be good.
that's the idea, and that's one of the goals, is to make sure it looks good on a cell phone.
Like the floating buttons is nice, but it can be altered in the mobile. What happens in our current version, right, where the buttons get all.
Yeah, we actually get a
That's
choice of where we want them,
Oh.
like, cause believe me, I'm like on them about if it doesn't look right. I'm kind of their worst nightmare, but I wanna make sure that you can have them at the top or they can stack at the bottom. You get to kind of choose where you want them. So, and again, based on what we've seen from City of Pleasant Hill, they do stack a lot nicer, so.
Yeah.
Well, no, I just like that, what mega menu you have designed up at the top, to help simplify the navigation. I think that does really help to get people, finding what they need at a glance, without having too many things up top and getting, confused. So I just had glanced at that, I know we had facilities, which is good, for the pool and facility rentals and things like that. But I think in the activities, it didn't say anything like, specifically pool related, so I don't know if maybe it was aquatics or.
It's aquatics.
All right.
So that's like, a lot of this is like thinking about a name, like of what makes sense to the user. Because for us, we know aquatics, but does everybody else know aquatics? Do we say pool when you say PH Aquatic Park? Do they know what that is? Or are you just talking about the pool? Oh, you mean the pool, So, part of that is like what makes sense to the user. And I mean, that's with aquatic
one or the
manager
other.
to talk about what some of the ideas that she might have about, the best way to describe pool, pool activities,
Right.
But that's it.
I like it. Looks like it's really come a long way.
Maybe I'll ask you any public comment, but I don't see.
There's no public comment.
Anybody want to make any comments? I just have to two or three more. I do like the direction is going to. I think we can still get a little bit further along and even modernize it a little bit more. I really hope that they can get it to function well on a mobile phone. Even the city's one, although it's better, it's still, there are parts of it are still clunky.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of scrolling. Just to find an agenda or find a minute, it's still very clunky. And they do the same thing and they link out for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So they don't have a registration system, but they link out for their minutes and their videos and stuff like that. So it's a little clunky when they start to link out. Is there any consideration for even shorter text, like even less? So instead of saying like, explore activities, just activities. Instead of like visit parks, just, visit or something like that. Because that's where a lot of modern website going is very minimal, right? A lot of iconography. So even taking out like Facebook, just the icon, right? Because I think it's recognizable enough that you don't have to add the text. And so is there even minimizing it more?
Yeah. it's a possibility. I chose action words as part of it, just to make it a little more like
Lively.
grabby, like,
Yeah, just
hey, I want you
explore,
to.
visit,
It's
rent.
supposed to be like welcoming, like,
Yeah.
hey, but that's,
Yeah.
I agree about the icons for sure, yeah.
I would be okay with just like single words like explore,
Mhm.
visit, rent, learn. And that, I mean, that, to me, that's very consistent with modern design, that's what you see in a lot of it, and it might make it flow a lot easier as well too. And then, you had that 3-column design, that's
Interior
pretty
page.
standard,
Interior
yeah,
page, yeah.
interior pages.
Mhm.
Could the 3rd column, instead of being a staff, be like what do you do in retail, like an Amazon, things you may like? So if you're exploring a sports page, things you may like similar to what you're exploring, that people can get to relatively quickly, so things that they may want to jump to. Is that a possibility?
I don't know the immediate answer for it, but I can look into it. It's just like depending on what, it's a very module based thing. So it's not like you can just drag, you're limited to the modules they developed for you. So in some ways there is some limited technology, things that you're kind of bound by. So, but what we put in them, that's another thing, like, I might be able to do that. I don't know. I'd have to look in to see what we could do and put in those boxes. Like, I can't currently embed a video, which seems crazy to me, like, not easily. It has to go from YouTube or something like that. So I can't just upload my personal video from my phone showing whatever. It has to be like,
Are agencies moving away from this platform?
yeah.
Almost all of them
All of
use
them,
it, so
yeah.
it's economical, and it, it meets all of the requirements, ADA and all of those things, and it's pretty plug and play for most municipalities. They're looking for kind of standout isn't necessarily what most cities want. They kind of want to provide the information in an easier to find fashion, and so so I think that it is they're like one of the largest municipal government website hosters, so.
I've looked at websites from all over the country, from
Florida,
Florida
I feel like yawning.
Yeah.
When you talk about
yeah,
that.
like literally all over the country, trying to find one that was like, looked like an private industry site. I didn't see one.
Oh, I have one other question. When you mentioned, Facebook and icons, is there any linkage to, having like posts on this? I mean, you mentioned not being able to upload video, but can you say, what's happening now?
Like you can show, you'll see some sites that'll have an actual post, like, your Facebook post or whatever at the bottom. You can do that. Yeah, you can probably do that now. I just always think they look a little clunky, but we can, and I think we have the capability to do that. So.
And maybe like to highlight, certain things that are happening now, and follow us live or whatever it was like when we send out a post or
it's great.
Have something
what's happening going
quickly on our
and that's something like that 3rd column. We probably could do something like that, add that in the 3rd column and do something more.
Something
A little livelier.
different,
Yeah.
some sort of interactivity or some recommendation
Mhm.
list or
Or
something.
top tip, or hey, did you know, or even like, you could do facts about the district, kind of weave those into the website, like you could make it look something. So it's just kind of what you want to do and what the module will allow you to do.
How does this integrate with Diligent?
It's similar. I mean, it's similar. We're gonna launch into Diligent. It doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
So the Board Agenda will take you to you click the Board Agenda site. It'll take you to Diligent. So. Yeah.
And would it still be separate that our current archived minutes go up to 2023, in this platform. And in 2024, 2025 are in the Diligent platform.
Yeah, that, I mean, that is, we're working on a better option for that, but you know, I can't upload them to Diligent and it isn't really effective to download all the Diligent ones and put them over there, so there, it will probably be the, definitely the, still the split. Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. That's a little discombobulating.
Yeah.
For folks that have to
Yeah.
toggle between.
Yeah.
The two.
Well, eventually the ones for like, you know, the really old ones, we don't have to keep up there. We're kind of, you know, we usually don't have really that many years back, so, you know, eventually we'll kind of just move to mostly Diligent, yeah.
So you can kind of view this as like a hub where it's kind of taking you to these other software platforms, kind of. One kind of looks like you're still on our site, which is their registration system. Another one, you know, Diligent looks very distinct, but I think that's okay.
Last minute thoughts from the board?
Hmm.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, right
Yeah.
top on that.
Appreciate it. Look forward to the
Thanks, Jen.
eventual relaunch.
Okay.
All right, we'll go ahead and close agenda item 4.1 and move to agenda 4.2, report from the general manager.
Great, thank you. I'll make this brief. Just a reminder, Pumpkin Splash is coming on October 12th. So reminder to those who might be listening, board members who have children who like to swim, you know, hop on registration and make sure that you can dive into the pool and get yourself a pool pumpkin. And since our summer seems to be late, then you know it might be 100 degrees that day. Who knows? But and then I wanted to highlight. I know there's an agenda item to discuss KidStop and purchasing some vans, but I want to thank the KidStop staff, especially Danny. And Kat jumping on, trying to find a solution for parents who were calling us frantic when Kid Time over right before Labor Day weekend announced that they were closing at the end of September, and people were scrambling for childcare. And so, you know, I harkened back to remembering, you know, the program committee had a conversation about KidStop and whether or not we were going to be able to sustain it. But luckily we have the capacity to take in more children there. So I want to thank Danny. I know it's been quite a ride of trying to figure out, you know, how to serve all of these families. And so I think that is fantastic. And I know that Danny and his team will make sure that children get from all various points of elementary schools to Gregory Gardens very safely, and they'll have a great time. So excited about that. And then just to let the board know, I will be out of the office starting the evening of September 30th. I'll actually be here on September 30th through 17th. I'm actually going out of the country. I'll return on October 20th. Lance will be acting general manager. We do have one board meeting during that time. Right now, I only have 3 board members who will be here, so it'll be a fairly light agenda. But just a reminder for that. And then Rogers Ranch Heritage Center has a new community day on Saturday, October 11th. I'm very excited to see all of the things that the Heritage Center board is doing to kind of activate the Rogers Ranch Heritage Center. So excited about that. And so if you're interested in any of those things, including, you know, growing your own salsa, please sign up for one of their workshops coming up. But with that, I'll take any questions.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the board?
Just a comment, I've really appreciated, you know, the reports that we get from Rogers Ranch. Lately, it seems like, you know, they've got a lot of information coming our way, and so I, you know, just want to express my appreciation for, you know, all the updates that we've been getting.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? Any public comment? Comment? Okay. Thank you so much for the report. We'll go ahead and close agenda item 4.2, move to agenda item 5, consent calendar. Consent calendar items are considered to be routine by the board of directors and will be enacted by one motion. Any public comment on the consent calendar? No. Then we'll open it up for a motion to move the consent calendar.
Move approval of the consent calendar.
We have a motion
I'll second.
and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? All right, motion carries 4-0. Thank you. We're gonna close agenda item 5 and move to agenda item 6.1. Authorize staff to purchase 2 9-passenger vans to allow the district childcare program KidStop to serve families in Strandwood, Pleasant Hill, and Sequoia that were displaced. I'll leave stop there as a long one. But who was it? Lance?
It was Lance. I don't know where he went.
Wasn't he just here?
He was just here, so
I'll look up.
there's stuff like I don't know. No, it's okay. We, as I mentioned,
We'll just read the staff report.
you can read the staff report. I'm sorry, I might apologize. So basically, Kid Town closed. We kind of scrambled. At the time, I told staff that, hey, let's, we had frantic parents, we have the space. Right now, the KidStop program is costing us more money because, if you have, 1 to 10 ratio, you need 2 staff. If I have 20 kids, I only need 2 staff. So, in order to really serve the community, I told staff that, hey, let's move forward. And if we, let's try to figure something out, even if we put staff there to collect kids and, take our time, because we do have a van. So then at that point in time, I tasked Lance with trying to find us some vans at a reasonable cost. Kid Time was closing. They had 3 vans. They provided us a quote on what their 2 newer vans they wanted. Lance negotiated with them for a price of $42,000 for both vans. And so they originally wanted 51, I think, something like that, for 50, right around there. And then Lance got them down to 42,000. The funny thing is that he told me that he was going to offer 45 and then offered them 42, and they accepted. So, but that was right at the low Kelly Blue Book. So feel that it's a good deal. We do have funds, although unexpected, in the capital improvement program fund. I believe that this investment, KidStop, will be able to pay this money back to the general fund by, by that we'll have some additional. Yes, Lance.
All right.
We'll have additional funds from revenue from KidStop to be able to replenish the general or the CIP fund is my goal. So I believe that they will be able to do that. They exceeded their revenue. I'm finishing up the financials from the end of the year. They exceeded the revenue last year, so congratulations, Danny, on the revenue goal. And so I know with this we'll probably be back to kind of pre-COVID-y time where stuff was. So I was giving you praise for the negotiation skills. So
Thanks.
so we're requesting that you'd authorize staff to purchase 2 9-passenger vans. So was there anything you wanted to add?
No, I've been in
No,
contact.
you didn't hear anything said?
No, I've been in contact with Leah
Yeah.
from Kid Time, so they're ready to roll, and so are we. And it's gonna be a quick turnaround with DMV, all that stuff, getting them added to our Capri list of vehicles. But we're ready to go.
And they need them until September 30th,
They
right?
do,
Because
yeah.
they are transporting kids until September 30th, so it'll be a pretty quick turnaround for us.
And that's us getting our logo on the side and getting them checked out. It's fast and furious.
But with that, we'll take any questions.
Right. Any questions from the board? Yeah.
So the program is in the morning as well as in the after school.
Yes.
So what's the plan for, will parents drop off at KidStop and then we will take kids to their various schools?
Danny, you wanna hop up here, Danny, and talk about how this, we currently provide transportation for Valhalla
For the morning, yeah.
for the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
So as of right now, it'll just be for Valhalla in the morning until we get all the staff situated and everything. And then we will be able to transport in the morning and after school to all the schools.
But right now, we're starting with just after school, right?
Yeah, and keeping Valhalla for the morning. That's all we've also been requested of. The other schools haven't really asked for morning transportation yet, so.
I think most of our families that are coming from Kid Time only had after school care.
Yeah.
They didn't have morning
before,
care.
Are
yeah.
they older children?
No,
Kindergarten,
they're all.
all TK through, so yeah. So I think parents were dropping them off at school. And then Kid Time was picking them up from school and bringing them to their facility. There was no, Kid Time wasn't providing, before school. So they didn't have that need when Kid Time shut down, so it was after school only at this point in time.
So, there's a broad range of ages. You've got early birds, late birds, different age groups get out at, or different grades get out at different times. How are you coordinating all of that?
So that we're hiring some more staff that are gonna be drivers as well. So we'll have people picking up
They
kids.
will work at KidStop and drive, not just be
Yeah,
drivers.
be part of the staff, yeah. And I was looking for that because we need more staff for the additional kids. So, yeah, we'll be taking kids in the morning around 10 a.m. to their schools. The ones that are early friendly friends, we're picking them up around 11:30, 12-ish, depending on their schedules, but yeah, we'll be coordinating all the different pickups throughout the whole day, pretty much. So we'll have kids at KidStop from 7 a.m. to about 10:30, and then back to KidStop about 11:30 to 6.
And Kid Time has been, so Kid Time reached out to Danny, and Leah reached out to Danny as the owner, wanting to help transition her families as much as possible, right? So she's been very helpful with the vans. She sent us staff, who now no longer have jobs, and so we're vetting them. And Danny's looking to hire some of them. And then she's also shared their from what I understand, their van routes and pickups for the schools that they have been doing. So there's a lot of pre-work that they had already done that they're sharing with us. So Danny and his staff are able to kind of pick up where they left off and not have to figure all of that out. But Danny has been transporting kids from Valhalla and PHE. Or no,
Valley View.
Valley View, that's it, yeah. To KidStop for the last couple of years, so.
Yeah, about 3 years now.
So it'll be all three schools, 3 elementary schools after school, but only Valhalla in the morning.
Yeah, for now, yeah.
And when
Some
some
of
of
the-
now, how long is that?
Until there's more of a need. Right now, I've only had one request from a student in Sequoia who's gonna be a late friend, so he'll be with us in the morning until about 10. And we'll take him over there. But that's the only one that's reached out about morning care from other schools. But once they know it's available, I'm guessing they're gonna ask us for that.
What's our pricing structure compared with Kid Time?
I'm actually not sure.
We haven't, I don't know.
Do we take kids at a month at a time, a week at a time, a day at a time?
So they sign up by the month and then by whatever they're needed every day, 3 days a week. Some parent schedules change from week to week, so they do sign up, like on a Saturday or Sunday when they know there's. We keep it pretty flexible. We try to do it by the month, so we know staffing purposes, but we do keep it flexible for the most part. So parents will only sign up for Wednesdays because it's the early day. So.
Do you envision any times when we'd have more than 11? What was the capacity?
They're 9-passenger vans, so yeah.
Do you have any concern that there would be suddenly, 10 kids would sign up in a month? And how would we transport those 10?
So right now, currently with Valhalla, whenever we have more than 10, a staff member stays at the school while the driver takes those kids to KidStop, and then they come back and get the next group. Yeah, so that's what we would do.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are my questions.
So when we get 3 vans then?
With the 2 additional, we would have 3, yeah.
And what's the capacity of our own van right now? Is that 9 also?
The current van is the driver plus 10 seats, so,
10.
yeah.
Yeah, we have to keep it under that for a regular driver.
Yeah.
Anything over that, you have to have a specialized.
Okay.
Yes, and that makes it very difficult. You have to have a bus license.
Yeah.
Anything over 10.
And these vans would be used, sounds like pretty much throughout the entire day.
Yeah,
Cause you go going back and forth, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
By the time you finish your morning, you're already trying to plan for the afternoon
yeah.
pickups.
Pretty much driving is done around like 3:30.
So I know that the vans are to help fulfill this need with KidStop and the additional kids that we're expecting to serve, but also I was wondering if the vans can be used to serve other department transportation needs too, because we've, you know, had some conversations already from other groups about there being some limitations in terms of transportation, so I guess if, you know, there isn't any active KidStop programming, could
Well,
the vans be?
we'll definitely be using them most likely during the summer, as
During
well,
the
because he
breaks.
has a full robust program during the summer, and brings kids to the pool and other places, you know, all of our pool, these are considered pool vehicles.
Right.
So when they're not being utilized, you know, by our kid programs, you know, so we have vans assigned right now, primarily as a priority to KidStop.
Mhm.
This will be 3, and then 2 to the teen center, right? Because they both do pickup, so.
Yeah, but they can share some resources.
Yeah, resources can be shared out, but the priority is, you know, is transportation of the children to those programs, and then outside of that. So let's say the senior program would like to use, because I think that's where you're referring to.
Right.
Senior program would like to take a smaller group, you know, on a Saturday or a Sunday.
Mhm.
The vehicles are available,
Gotcha.
and any licensed driver in the district can drive them.
Michelle, I would like to see some written down data of what the you know, added employees will cost, soaking wet. What the band costs will be, what the extra, you know, staffing needs will be, versus the revenue that we can expect, you know, from this influx, just to back up the belief that you have that this will eventually you know, bring us back even. I'd like to see some numbers.
Yeah, we could, yeah, and I wanted to get, we're still in flux in trying to like figure out exactly how many students we're gonna have, but yeah, we'll definitely get that for you. So.
So, any other question?
Just a kind of minor one. I know that, you know, sort of California is looking to do electrification of, you know, their vehicles and fleets for public agencies, and I don't know how this sort of fits into that plan. You know, we're getting some vehicles that are already just sort of pre-owned, but, you know, are we kind of moving towards that eventually to, you know, do electric vehicles? I know this is just kind of a opportunistic, but.
Not at this time, but this is a need, an
Yeah.
immediate need to fill a need in our community, so, but. Yeah.
We're assuming we're gonna have 18, I know that at least, right? To fill the
He
van.
has that right
I
now.
already have 30 kids that need childcare.
Questions? More questions? Any public comment? Comment? I'll bring it back to the board for discussion. Thoughts?
Yeah, I would just say if I could, I mean, I was approached by, unbeknownst to me, one of our really good friends, kids went to Kid Time, and they approached me when they, you know, well into it to come up and tell me thank you. And I asked them why, and they said because, you know, Rick Park District stepping up to ensure that these kids had a place to go, and they were in tears. They both have been kind of are transitioning back to their office, struggling with how they're going to get their kids, you know, to and from school, and were in tears when they, you know, found out that a community like organization like us was going to step up and fill that need. And so it was a proud moment for me. I told them, I said I had nothing to do with it. I said, and they knew that this would be coming for the board, and they knew that there would be a lot of families that were, you know, like hoping for this, but just a kudos to all of you. And I didn't kudos even beforehand to, you know, Michelle and Chair Tran for bringing the report, you know, to the board, you know, several months back, so we had a full understanding of what the, you know, what the hopes and goals were there, what was already in place, and how we were looking to try to add to that program, and then to be able to step in and have a program like this to offer. I mean, what you all are doing for the community is astounding, and I think one of the main reasons why the district is in this place. So, congratulations and thank you, all of you.
Thank you. Other thoughts?
Well, I'll echo all of that, but also just from the business of the district. And this, I think, is a core service for our community, what the district provides. And I'm extremely proud, that we've stepped up as we had. From a personal perspective, I am the grandmother of 2 school-age kids. Single mom, 2 kids in school, she works full-time. I can't even imagine, what that family would be going through right now if they felt that they had the rug pulled out from underneath them, what would they do? So, it's not only a core service we provide, but, I just feel, very empathetic, to all of the parents that are finding themselves in this situation. And I'm really, really glad that we can have them.
Thank you. Any comment?
Yeah, I mean, I sort of just echo the same things that had already been stated. I know that when Kid Time tried to open up their location here, they were met with some resistance. They weren't successful initially with the planning commission to get approval of using the space here in town. They were able to get that, location opened up, only to find out in this situation, they're not able to sustain that. And I feel, sorry that they're not able to continue for Leah and others, but I am, again, like Bobby said, just really proud that we've been able to step up and help these families in need. So appreciate that, we had sort of this opportunity to be able to do that. And I'm, kind of inclined and encouraged to help support that.
Great comments. Great comments. I think I would just echo all of those as well too. Role of public agencies are not necessarily about making money. It's about providing services, ensuring that there's a floor, a minimum of or place where people can go to get assistance, help, support, whatever that may be. And just because we're a rec agency doesn't mean that we don't have our role in providing that support. So this is great to be able to do so. And I think it just goes back to the sort of idea that space making, place making, having services available, because we know it's important, because at some point the community is going to want to utilize that, right? So whatever that it may be, whether it's sports or complexes or even just childcare, it's important for agencies such as ourselves to be able to provide those without the sort of fear of making money. So I'm fully in support of this. I know it's not completely fleshed out, but it sounds like there's a huge need, and this is an opportunity to obtain some infrastructure to continue to build that out. And I'm going to encourage our marketing team as well. I think this kind of story is an opportunity to showcase the humanity that a district such as ours can provide for the public at large. And so hopefully this is also a story that we can put out there as well, that we're helping the community grow this. So I will open it up to the board. I'm assuming this is a voting item.
It is.
So I will open up to the board for a motion for a very long paragraph there.
I'd like to entertain that the staff authorize, the purchase of these 2 passenger vans and allow the district to extend its childcare program to the schools in Sequoia and Pleasant Hill and other schools from the displacement of these children from Kid Time for an amount not to exceed $42,000, and authorize these expenditures from our capital improvement fund.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right, a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? All right, motion carries 4-0. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Go ahead and close action item 6.1, move to action item 6.2, authorize staff to enter into a contract with Robertson Recreation Surfaces to retop the surface in the tot lot at Pleasant Oaks Park for not to exceed $39,635.36. Come on now.
1 second. Having that is frozen on me again. Let's look. Wireless display. Disconnected. Connected again. Hey, sorry, I have a presentation. Share, sorry. It's not gonna do that. Where is this display again? This display. It's not finding it. I need to figure out a wireless in here. My wireless keeps not.
Yeah, see this.
And that's the door.
Yeah, some people like doors on that.
Roll two. Okay. Neutral. So after 2 weeks, was it worth it?
Yes, I think so.
Well, let's our homeowners check out the results of their competitors' work.
Would I like to watch the home show? Yeah, wireless is not good. Okay, there we go. Now let's go back to sharing. Share. Okay. Tonight before you is authorized funding for resurfacing of the tot lot at Pleasant Oaks Park. Just kind of want to go through this. The tot lot surfacing has deteriorated to beyond the point of patching and resealing. Originally, when we were going through the budget process, staff thought that patching and resealing was going to be an option. The staff received input from multiple installers that the surface needed replacement, and there was some discrepancy over the solution, which is why at the August 28th board meeting, staff brought two options to the board. One was to retop the surface and seal, and the other was a full replacement of the surfacing, including the subsurfacing. At that time, the board directed staff to choose an option and to provide quotes on the same scope of work. There are limited companies that provide this particular work. There's maybe 3-4 of them in our area. The staff received quotes. The specifications that we provided to the 3 installers was to retop the surface, not a total redo, but retopping the surface. 100% beige with the alphafitic binder at about 1,800 square feet. All of the manufacturers have their own named kind of system. And I have their websites, and I can show you kind of what that looks like. So they're all slightly different. They all slightly do a different installation process. So all of their kind of line items are a little different. We received 3 quotes for this particular work. One was Robertson Recreation Surfaces. Their quote for service was in total $39,635.36, which is 20.96 square feet. They added 91 additional square feet. He came out and had measured it himself. We said approximately 1,800. He added 91 square feet, so I used his number of 1,891 to get that per square foot price. FlexGround, their bid, the quote for service was actually $49,649. There was an error in the staff report. I wanted staff to take out the fencing because the temporary fencing was included, and it wasn't included in either of the other 2 bids. And the 7 got changed, but not the 6, not the 9. So the amount without the fencing, which wasn't included in the other 2 bids, we didn't ask for it to be included, was $46,799.96. So it was $26.71 per square foot. Their system also includes this proprietary system in grout, and then the temporary fencing. I removed the temporary fencing. They use 1750 based on their own calculations from Google Earth. even though we asked for 1,800. In their quote, it says that it's an estimate and they will fix that in the field. So the per square foot price is kind of the best to use. And then Dave Bang, their price was, they had on their quote, they had two options. This price was correct in the staff report. They had two things on their quote. Tom had asked them for a price on their roll coat as well. He wanted them on separate. They sent it to us the day that we were doing the staff report. They both were listed out as line items, so we'd taken the roll coat off because it was not included in the other bids, and we did not want that in that. But Tom had asked them for that information, so he had another quote for that. So they also used $1,750 for the calculation, and again, staff had asked for the roll coat, but did not include it in the comparison price, and that was correct in the staff report. Unfortunately, like I said, the project wasn't included in the CIP as staff believed the areas could be patched. More extensive repairs needed to bring the surface back to acceptable rating for our fall zones. So we do need to do the work. The project falls under our uniform public contracting code, so it doesn't actually require a competitive bidding process. The district can contract and negotiate with its preferred installer. As it falls under the threshold of any of those requirements for publishing and putting out that kind of a process. Robertson Recreational Surfaces installed our 5 to 12-year-old playground surfacing in 2019, and it is holding up a lot better than the one that was installed in the top lot originally with our Measure E project. So we're confident in Robertson Recreation Surfaces, and it's providing us some longevity that we haven't been seeing with the top lot. I do want to say that Robertson's bid increased, so they did provide a bid on the retop that was provided to the board. It increased by $2.47 per square foot due to it being 100% beige. If you remember, Tom had mentioned that frequently to reduce the price, they put in black to kind of reduce the price, but that does not hold up as well. So we requested 100% beige, and so then that increased the price of that. And so our recommendation is to authorize staff to enter into a contract with the Robertson Recreational Services for the retop surfacing of the top lot for $39,635.36. And there was some questions from board members about the quotes that we had received that I sent to the board separately, and I wanted to kind of share. Can get out of the slideshow. If you look at when I look at so this is recreational services, and so you'll see that they have a number of different kind of layers in treatment. They have a 1/2-inch one overlay, but they're doing this what they call Renew Retop, their top turf Renew Retop overlay, and then you have this is the rubber surfacing repair called Flex Grout, which is what is talked about in their in Flex Grounds thing. This is the Flex Grout, and so their product is Flex Grout, and so they have these things that they do specifically to that, and so there's they all have kind of their own certain things. And then you look at this is Dave Bang and their rubber surfacing. They don't have nearly as many layers as the as if you look at this as Robertson. So they just have this capware and then the black rubber mat and then the concrete and the subsoil. So so it's kind of while it's all gets you to the same place, they're all very different products. And so installation and kind of names on things and kind of how they price that out were all very different. But we're comfortable, staff's comfortable with Robertson. and hoping that the board would will agree to moving forward with that. So with that, we'll take Tom is here for any technical questions that the board may have.
All right, thank you. We'll go up to the board for questions. All right.
So if it was approved tonight, what would be the timing and then the time frame of,
Sometime in October is when Robertson, when their schedule is available. Probably late October. The weather could change things, but we are gonna need to fence it off for 5 days.
Other questions? Questions? Any public comment? Public comment?
No.
Yeah, we'll bring it back to the board for discussion and thoughts. Yeah.
No, I'm just happy with, the report we received on the breakdown of the different quotes and, I asked, or one of the questions I had that was answered, was that, each of the vendors had sort of the same specifications from which to kind of prepare their quotes, so there was consistency amongst the different vendors. So, but yeah, appreciate the information that we received on this.
Yeah, yes.
Well, I'll confess to being really frustrated, as I shared with Michelle, that what was laid out in the memo here should have been, I think, what you actually presented this evening, with all of the warrants and everything else on it, because it was very clear looking at the bids that they were not apples to apples, which is what the board had requested. That must have been extremely frustrating for you, Tom, because these folks don't bid apples to apples.
Right.
And so it's I'm sure it's a mutual frustration what's going on here. My concern really was about the communication of what was really going on here, because the original memo wasn't supported by the bids that I actually did look at. So thank you for explaining some of the discrepancies in there, but they very definitely are different products. I did find though that in my review of all of this, that the Robertson, the Flex Ground pricing actually came in pretty similar. They were only a few $1,000s off from my analysis of the bids. And so I guess I would, I guess that makes me more appreciative of the recommendation that you've looked at the quality of the product that we would be purchasing for this money. Because to me, that's really where the differences lie. The third one doesn't look like it's substantial at all, and so I and that's just my impression of it. The other two look like they are comparable, and so I really have to just go with your recommendation about which one is the better one, not just based on price, because I think ultimately the pricing is about the same, but which one that you feel is the better product, the most long-lasting, the one that will have the greatest financial.
Yeah, I do not know who did the one for the top lot originally. I wasn't involved in that, but Robertson did the one for the 5 to 12 area, and it's held up very well.
And I think that's the other key thing for me, that we have experience with that.
So I brought this up, Sandy, just because so I know that they put this as an add alternate to this LFIC. It actually is required. And so it's not an alternate. The only thing that is that can be taken out of the flex ground bid is that temporary fencing. And so if you look at all the other of them, they all have you have to have this LFIC binding, right? So
Yes,
and what does that do, Tom?
It holds it all together. I mean, it's a binder. It's exactly, it just keeps they're little tiny granules of rubber, and it just glues it all together. So
All due respect,
Yeah.
the bid from Robertson named a different kind of binder.
It is, and
Right.
they're similar, right, Tom?
they're
Very similar.
extremely similar.
Yeah.
I don't know that one company prefers one over the other. I mean, or why they're using it. I know that one is more expensive, but
The other concern that I have, and since we're in comment period here, is that the second quote we received from FlexGround really didn't have much detail with respect to borders and demolition and how far down they were going to go and what the thickness of stuff was going to be. None of that was really broken out in their proposal. And so while it possibly would have been a product that I would have supported, because I do believe the costs are pretty similar when all said and done. It just really wasn't responsive to the specs that you had put out. At least not enough for me to make a determination that it's worth paying a little bit extra for it. So the work needs to be done, and I support the staff's recommendations, but definitely caveated.
It's frustrating when they're not all, when it's not all in the same box, and
Absolutely.
so.
But tell us that.
And so,
Yes.
yeah, no, I tried to just provide the bottom line that, and so, but in the future, I will definitely, get into more than nitty gritty, but I thought it was, definitely, easier for the board just to look at, what we compared apples to apples, and so that is why that was, but yeah.
Any other thoughts?
No, I would just add on that, I'm glad that, we have experience with this particular installer and, can judge for ourselves the quality on the other lot, how it's held up. And then, in addition to standard of care that they've done in terms of, preparing their estimate versus doing like an aerial takeoff, if you will, on the quantity, seems to me like there's a little bit more of a interest in, performing the work.
Okay. Other thoughts?
Like crap and it gets a lot of use, so.
Roll forward.
Yeah, go by there around 11 a.m. on a weekday and see how many people are sitting in that tot lot. It's packed.
Hey, I was kind of in that boat as well too, saying, well, there's only 3 companies or so that actually do it, and we just gotta get done, so you gotta pick one of them, right? And so just pick one, right? I think for future ones as well, in addition to sort of the fiscal impact, just maybe a paragraph on just the discussion on if it's not up to bid, but you're having some judgment, that like we've used this company before, or the quality is better, just to have a little bit of a summary in there saying, in addition to the recommendation because of the fiscal numbers, we're also recommended because of XYZ, already might be helpful as well.
Okay.
But I agree, I was okay with Stephen. So if there's no other further comments from the board, we'll go ahead and open it up for motion.
Yeah. So a motion that we authorize staff to enter into a contract with Robertson Recreation Surfaces to retop the surface at the lot at the Pleasant Oak Park for the amount not to exceed $39,635.36, and authorize these expenditures from our CIP fund.
All right, we have a motion.
Oh, sorry.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries 4-0. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and close agenda item 6.2, move to agenda item 7. Thank you, Tom. Board report from committee chair and opportunity to set meeting dates. We don't have any committee meeting dates. Right?
Not the future ones.
Is it appropriate to discuss whether we what alternative dates we can meet for evaluation in this section, or that's something that we have discussed elsewhere?
We can discuss that. I'll be gone until the 20th, so we'll be off for the next couple of weeks, so on that. But
yeah.
I didn't have a question. I just wondered, I noticed that land and facilities had a meeting that wasn't put on there.
We did.
oh yeah, because I didn't put in the last ones, but yeah.
To report out on that, we had a meeting last Thursday. There were 3 items on our agenda that we looked at. The temporary bike park installation at the library, unfortunately, after discussion with city staff, would result in some revisiting of the CEQA and EIR that had been established for that particular use at that location. So we've directed staff to look at an alternate location, that alternate location being the old schoolhouse for the bike park. So staff is gonna explore that and come back, with some more information about locating a bike park there. We also discussed new surfacing of the civics or community center with the wood, replacing it with vinyl flooring. So Lance had brought in some sample to look at that would be used in that area. It was recommended by the architect, and it.
Dawn recommended it. Yeah, it was recommended by Dawn.
It seems like this will accommodate the maintenance needs on that particular area much better because of the issues with the wear and the water damage that's currently happening with the wood flooring. So it'll be
The
done.
dance floor.
We're talking about the far area.
Bar,
Oh, yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah, that is what we're doing first.
that's what.
We're testing it there.
Yeah,
And we're not convinced on the other, Dawn and America had amended both, we're not convinced, so.
yeah.
So we are doing the bar
Stepwise.
area, that area that needs to be done.
So that would be, the first area to get resurfaced, and we'll see how that turns out. We have an opportunity to test it. It's similar to with the carpet tiles that have been installed elsewhere. The vinyl flooring allows you to pull up a section and replace it if it gets worn or damaged. So, and then the third item that we had discussed was implementing a public art policy here for the district for opportunities to do some, different types of art within our district. So Michelle and us are going to look at, what we can do to put in a policy in place for public art. So those were the three topics. And I don't know, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I think you hit all three. Thank you. Thank you for reminding us for doing that. And there wasn't any other one thing, so, okay. Yes,
And on that, not on that, but on the program, you had mentioned that.
I did, and I did not get, I did not get to you, so it'll be after I get back, so, yeah, we'll have to do that, so.
the year is coming to an end quickly, gotta meet.
So we'll try to get some discovery.
We're gonna be going about the same.
Same time, yeah.
So just
So
wanna be sure.
we'll try to plan that, right, or, if we can talk about right after that, so.
And may I suggest that we might, it might be proper to get budget finance back together again. We've had now 3 large unscheduled capital improvement program approvals. That I think the budget committee probably needs to take a look at the overall impact.
Other committee meeting dates,
Yeah.
okay. And then, we were just got the meeting date as well to, as well for, closed session for the evaluation.
Oh, that's right, you're gonna discuss that, you can, although we don't have Sandy here, but, so we haven't been able to find a time before a board meeting, so, is there a time that might work, outside of that for a closed session? Cause the night that we have 2 board members gone, Sandy was gone tonight, and so maybe is there a Thursday, it's for the general manager evaluation, so I don't know if October 2nd might work.
We would prefer to have all 4 members present.
Present, yeah.
Kind of important, yeah.
What time is that, the stand event is at the community center that? That's from 5 to 7, so.
October 2nd is work for me, yeah.
Please take that.
Earlier.
Oh, no,
Later, like same time, like 7 or.
well, I mean, earlier or later, I mean, there's like, what time were you thinking?
I was just throwing out a Thursday as an option, but we can throw out other dates as well, so. Is there anything that works for you, Chair Tran? You usually have a,
I mean, evenings I can make flexible, but Thursdays are my most flexible day.
I'm flexible during the day too.
Wednesdays are, well, evenings, I can probably work most evenings. Work it out most evenings.
Good night, Wednesday.
Yeah, everything is open for me in the, after work.
Wednesday?
Wednesday the first, are you looking for Wednesday the first?
What time?
I think it'll be, well, I have to be later, so like, for me, it's after 6:30, I can do it.
Yeah, I'll make it.
is that a yes?
Yeah, I'm here.
Is that well, you'll be gone,
I'm gonna be gone, but
Yeah.
Lance will open the door. and
Lance will.
I will post
will
the
be
agenda
present.
before I leave, so everyone will know, and then Lance will open the door for
So
you.
maybe
October 1st to 6:30.
6:30, is that?
Yeah, but we would still need to check with the.
She'll be available.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's the most flexible.
Okay.
But if she's not, then I will send out an email, and we'll figure that out before I leave. October 1st at 6:30 here.
Or you could use your office.
Yeah, you can actually use this room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or she won't be here yet.
I'm not gonna be here, but yeah, no, you can use my office, yeah. But you have to start here and we just kick everybody out. Lance can wait in my office while you guys. are in
It's
here.
just a little more private.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Fair
Sandy just said 10 when it's fine.
Most flexible, well, thank you so much for doing that, and get that on the schedule as well too. Go ahead and close agenda item 7, and move to agenda item 8, board announcements and requests to staff, Director Carver.
Yeah, I still owe everybody a link to the Relay for Life thing that I will get out, and I needed Ken to reset my password, and so I'll make sure that gets out to everybody in advance of next week. And then, yeah, just kudos to everybody that was involved. I know I don't know that we get a lot of input or participation on the Special Olympics softball tournament that takes place at our park. I mean, it was a huge event this weekend, and I know that the PHBA is intimately involved. The umpiring crew volunteers their time to umpire all the games, and it's just a fantastic event just to see so many. I mean, they come in, like, groups come in buses, they've got barbecues set up, and I mean, it is bustling with teams and activity. It was just really cool, like, every year to be able to, you know, like, see that. And it always comes as a surprise because I always forget that it's happening. And then so I did reach out to PHBA to ask that, you know, like, they give us a heads up when this is gonna take place, because a really great event. And then I will again miss the meeting on the 9th, but I will be back for the meeting on the 23rd. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now.
There must be some things, but the only thing that I'll mention is a wander through at Rogers Ranch that I did and observed the Denise Corslove and her team. They were painting the interior. Did I mention this at our last
Yeah, I
meeting?
think so, yeah.
Okay, then I'll just give a shout out then to the Herb Society, who is continuing to improve the southern edge of the property. It just really looks fabulous. It's beautiful garden, flowers, butterflies, hummingbirds. It's wonderful. So if you haven't been out there in a while, go visit.
Well, thank you. Works.
Yeah, I wanted to give my appreciations for the World Fusion Fest. I think that went extremely well. Yeah, I was just really mesmerized by the diversity of the different types of performances that were there. I mean, I found that I was sitting there just in the audience with my son, really taking it all in. It was a wonderful day to be out there and see all that activity. It looked like it was a great turnout, so very pleased with how that went. And then the next day, the Bike Family Fest, it seemed as though some of the kinks that had happened the first year, its inaugural year, had been ironed out. There was much better flow through all of the activities. The bike park had been expanded to include another section so that there was ample room for the kids to get through all the different things of Passport, having the district involved with the Lockstar program. I really felt like that went really, really well. So again, another kudos. I know it was a busy weekend. And then obviously looking forward to this weekend on Saturday for Community Service Day. I wanted to, work at the Brookwood Park, to do some work on the labyrinth, but I got called in to help with the creek cleanup again this year, so unfortunately I have to divert my volunteering over there, so, but yeah, I'm glad that the district has found, some projects that, volunteers can participate in and support that activity. It's nice that we open up our facilities for that. Do the host of breakfast and everything else too, so. That's all I have, yeah. I won't make the pumpkin splash, unfortunately, just be out of town with it.
Yeah, I would just echo that as well too. The World Fusion Fest was great. We can get maybe a short report on that as well, just to kind of evaluate how the way it sort of felt like it went well. Like it was well run. The performances were great. Food was fabulous as well too. Nice vendors. And so it felt like it went well. I just want to close the loop and get a final report on that as well. I did wear some additional outfit. Was it on Facebook?
You look really sharp, yeah.
I know. Fair enough. But it was certainly fun to have it. So kudos to the staff for putting that on. Yes, and the Bike Family Fest was super fun as well too. It definitely much better organized and laid out. I like the sort of different areas. My daughter got to level 3, and got scared of level 4 route just because of all the jumps and the undulations. But she did level up a couple of skills, so that was super fun as well too. And hopefully they'll continue to do that. And we're looking forward to what they're thinking about in terms of a temporary bike park at another location now. So looking forward to that as well too. Also looking forward to the pumpkin splash we go every year. My daughter still wants to go, so she's still at that age where she still wants to do that stuff. We'll be there. We'll be there at the pumpkin splash to grab our pumpkin as well too. I will end with just a nod to the fall equinox that happened earlier this week with a quote from Albert Camus. He said, "Autumn is a second spring when every leaf is a flower." And with that, I will adjourn the meeting at 8:40 p.m.
Yeah, I think a very question for you. Interest, yeah.